Well, good morning, everyone. It is chilly this morning, but it's definitely above freezing. And I decided that this would be the perfect opportunity for me to give you a little bit of information on overwintering your myrtle topiaries. So many of you have asked what to do with them during the winter. You can see I've got my hose out because I did just water them. I'm not gonna lie, myrtle topiary or Myrtus communis compacta, which is the dwarf form that typically is used in topiaries, can be pretty finicky in the wintertime because they really want full sun, lots of light, and in the summertime, lots of water. Now, I'm going to put a link to a wonderful article below on winter care for your myrtle topiaries, but I want to also share some of my personal experiences with them. Now, right now, they still look good. They're full. They still have some new growth coming out. I've got them in a variety of different forms, typical standard forms or a bowl on a stem, but I've also got some in espalier form, tiny espalier form. I'm starting to do a number of them in really a tight conical form. That one needs its support lengthened. I need to put in a new support. I like to plant them in multiples. You can see here that in this one faux bois pot that's hiding behind this lemon verbena, you can see I've got 3 in there, and it makes a nice rounded mound at the beginning. I'm starting to really like them in multiples. And then I've got several that are just one large head at the top with a multiple stemmed, multiple trunked topiary form. And I've also got my rosemary topiaries out here. Now here's what I've learned. And by the way, at the end of winter, these will not look like this. They will have dropped a lot of leaves. They might or might not be a little bit buggy, but if I just can keep them alive during the winter time, I can put them back out in the spring and they recover nicely. But here's some things that I have learned in addition to the information that's shared in the article. Number one, I try to keep mine out absolutely as long as possible. As long as it's above freezing, then I try to keep them out. Now, the other day, I talked about moving these in because I don't have a greenhouse. I talked about moving these inside my husband's office that is glassed in, and they get pretty much light. But when the temperatures reliably got back above freezing, and we've had a very mild fall so far, I kept a plant stand. This is the Terrace plant stand from Gardener's Supply. I put the plant stand outside, and then my topiaries moved back out until it gets so cold that they need to go in. This will prolong their beauty for as long as possible so that at least during the holidays, I can bring them inside and they will continue to look pretty good. Now, when I bring them in, I try not to for example, I don't know that I would bring them in and immediately put them on top of the mantle above my hot fireplace, because that would be a variation in temperatures that could be pretty traumatic to the plant itself, and it might drop a bunch of leaves. So typically when I bring them in, they'll be in a bright window where the temperatures are rather cool so that the temperature differential isn't so great. I've got some over here that are multiples in these long window box narrow pots, and these will remain outside too. So what I do is I look at the 7-day or the 10-day forecast, and as long as it's above freezing by 2 or 3 degrees, then I leave them outside, and then I bring them in 1s or 2s or 3s to stage them and use them indoors where they look just beautiful at a time, and then they go back out. So they might be in place for staging for maybe a week, And then I put them in an area where they will be happier. Again, with bright light, cool but not warm temperatures. And I make sure to keep them watered. Now in the summertime, I have told you, once they dry out, that's pretty much the end of a myrtle topiary. So you really want to make sure that they don't dry out. Consequently, in the summer, I have to water them every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, particularly because topiary tend to look best in pots that are a little bit too small for them. And so the pots and the soil in the pots dry out very, very quickly. Go back over here. But during the winter time, they don't need nearly so much water, which is nice because it's cooler. And they can get by with 2 or 3 times a week generally, unless it's very warm and it's very windy. So they are rather finicky. They require babysitting. They, however, give you such a return on your investment of time and watering and energy. Here's an example of one that needed to be watered, but it's not yet completely dried out. But you can see that the leaves there are rather droopy, so I just watered that one. Versus these leaves, which are perky and upright. I really hold back on feeding them in the wintertime. I don't feed them generally at all, and that's also true of my rosemary, which I would say as a whole appreciate the same kind of conditions. Cool, really bright light. Don't let them dry out. And the other thing is, when they're outside for as long as possible, they get that additional humidity from being outdoors. When they're inside, where your heating system makes the air extremely arid and dry, they don't like that. And they dry out even sooner, and it makes them more prone to spider mite and some kind of pests. So in general, always have some insecticidal soap handy. But what I also do is a lot of times I'll just take them to the sink, and if I see any little webs forming or any sign of pest distress, I just use the sprayer in my sink and spray the foliage off, and they really like that additional humidity. One thing I wanted to show you again over here that I neglected to was an example of myrtle topiary that is not this compactiform. And this one here, it's kind of hard to tell, I guess, because it's up against more foliage. But you can see this one here, there's the pot, and it has kind of a conical form, but the leaves are much bigger and evocative of almost the size and shape of an olive tree leaf. And here's another one I've got over here. Now these are cold hardy, and I can leave these out. And typically what I'll do is put them over there with my boxwood. I did a video on overwintering boxwood where I blow leaves onto them, and I'll try to remember to put that link below. So there are my topiary tips for overwintering your myrtle topiaries. Give them as bright a light as possible. Keep them outside as long as possible. When they come in, make sure that you keep them watered and hydrated. A lot of times, by the way, you guys, I will put them on a tray on a bed of gravel or something. You can see these are on trays, and that helps also keep them humid when this is humid and watered. And the reason that that's so important is, especially if, I know during COVID we're not doing a lot of traveling, but if you're gone for the holidays, that's when I find that I lose my topiaries, is because I'm not there to fuss and fret over them. So make sure that you do have a babysitter if you're gone. So that's pretty much it. If they do show signs of distress, just continue to care for them, put them back out in the spring, and as long as they have remained watered and tended, then they will flush out again in those tiny glossy little green leaves when the growing season returns.